Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, senior Lakers insider for Clutch Points, joined on this fine Thursday afternoon by Miriam Swanson of the Southern California News Group, one of my favorites. I believe officially a friend of the show now. I think I've been neglecting to call you a friend of the show. You've been on now several times. Congratulations, t-shirts in the mail.
I would wear that proudly, actually. Yeah, no. Well, thank you for having me. Like, I don't know why you keep having me back, but I'll come when you ask.
It's fun. It's fun. I really enjoy talking sports with you. We've talked about, your kind of curiosity towards it. And I think that leads to some really interesting conversations here. And today's hopefully interesting conversation will be about the Lakers and Clippers summers. They are they are impossible to de-link from each other.
hmm
They are going to be, I think, very competitive with each other for the Pacific Division title this year. We'll see what happens with Golden State if they ever figure out the Kuminga thing.
Uh,
my poor buddy
uh,
Sam is running out of literal chairs in the world to keep sending out as we wait for that situation to figure itself out.
yeah, for all of our sake. Yeah.
I just don't understand why, we get daily updates about Kuminga. He's not good. I don't know. But
What is he like? Yeah, I don't know. This is because there's nothing else happening, right? It's like
yeah, I saw
either where is LeBron going to be traded or what's up with Kaminga. So it's that's all there is to talk about. Right?
God forbid it's like enjoy your summers.
God forbid. Who would want to do that? No, so somebody asked me the other day, like, shouldn't the NBA be try to be like more like the NFL and just like have stuff happening all year round? And I'm like, man, how can we miss you if you never leave? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think that's again the interesting stances. The thing with needing to fill airtime between August and September, there was an Austin Reeves report about what he's likely to sign for,
Mhm.
making its rounds yesterday. And I was
Right.
like, why? I've talked about this plenty. All these other shows have talked about it plenty. It hasn't come up before, hasn't been aggregated before. I was like, oh, wait, it's August 6th. All right.
Yeah.
So, to those who do get aggregated out there, be extra careful right now, because those accounts are looking for anything right now that might generate any kind of engagement. But no. So today, though, I wanted to talk about the summer that the Lakers had, and the summer that the Clippers had, and I also want to talk about how the Lakers summer. I know with all of the LeBron stuff and Luka's body transformation and the excitement, the undying excitement over the Jake LaRavia edition.
I definitely want to talk about that, actually.
We have somehow forgotten that the Lakers were sold this summer. And I wanted to talk a little bit
Kind of a
about
big
that as well. Yeah, right. It's like who had,
deal.
I've been reading these articles about grading summers and stuff like that, and the literal sale of the Los Angeles Lakers keeps on getting neglected, and I kind of wanted to
Mm.
talk a little bit about that motion. So we'll go there, and we'll allow that to kind of let us meander all over these various topics as well. A quick reminder, please do hit that subscribe button. If you guys are watching here on YouTube, if you guys are on Twitter, head on over to youtube.com/@LakersLounge to find the show there. And then if you guys are listening to the show in its podcast version in the morning, please hit subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcasts, preferably on Odyssey, because I am a company man. All right. So let's start with the sale, because again, and my apologies for the way that I have this annoying lisp right now, and it's because I bit the tip of my tongue. And It's
Oh
just
man, ouch.
it's one of the worst things you can possibly do as a podcaster is bite the tip of your tongue. And yet here I am.
Huh.
But anyway, so the
I
Lakers,
hadn't I'm sorry. I couldn't tell until then, but
I think it's one of those things that I can hear more than the audience, and I've just now called attention to it. And
Yep, yep. Now
so
we're all gonna hear it the whole time.
yeah, the whole time I to avoid S's for the whole show. So there was a Lakers sale
Mm,
over the summer. And the last time you were on the show, and you noted this in a
yes.
column that you wrote for the OC Register, and the last time that we spoke, I had kind of said like, I wonder what this could possibly look like, and how this could possibly go. Truth be told, I had heard some mention of it over the last year or so, and it wound up taking place kind of exactly as it was described to me over that time. So Lakers, the Bus family, they sell just enough of their 66% ownership in the Lakers to make Guggenheim or AEG the majority owners now, but they also maintain the 15% necessary for Jeannie Buss to remain governor or final decision maker. What do you think about how all of that went? Like, how did that news land on your desk? What were your immediate thoughts when that went down?
Um, but I mean, immediately, like the first time I thought about it seriously is when you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, that would be great. I mean,
Makes a bunch of sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is a very deep pocketed ownership team that likes to win, and obviously has done an amazing job with the Dodgers in that regard. And so my immediate response is, two thumbs up. And wow, sports teams are worth a lot of money, like a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Um, like yeah. And then the more you think about it, you're like, well, I am curious to see how it all works out. As far as Jeannie keeping that governor title, I think that's kind of cool. Like, I think that's cool to pass the baton and kind of keep it connected with the buses for the whatever the years or foreseeable future or whatever term they were
Yeah.
using.
I've heard
Uh,
anywhere from 5 to 7 years. So
yeah, so I'm not mad at that. Like, I think it's fine. Obviously, it's been in process for, or been part a process that's lasted for it wasn't overnight. Um, it makes a lot of sense. But also, there's a when there are like ownership. I mean, I'm not an economist or anything, but like there's sometimes like ownership groups that have their hands in many different pots and teams and leagues. Um, it doesn't go well for all of them. So
yeah.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Lakers are going to become the Dodgers. And the NBA is different because there's a salary cap and so on and so forth. Um,
Just ask the
Also,
Clippers, right? Like, they're running the Clippers like the Dodgers, and they
yeah,
haven't been able to, breach
100%.
that wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like we can go buy everybody and even like get creative and do deferred contracts and like, just like kind of come up with our own rules because they're very stringent rules, as you and your listeners know. Um, and also like a lot of this ownership group, I know this is like apples to oranges to like, uh, Mike and Ike's, but like, um, like they also kind of own the Sparks, and like they have done nothing for the Sparks. So like, like every
That's a
other
great
team in
point.
the WNBA has a practice facility either on the way or a beautiful multi-million-dollar practice facility now because the WNBA has become a league where like the teams are treated like professional teams, except for the Sparks. So
Yeah.
you know. The Lakers are not the Sparks, of course. So, like, I'm sure that they're going to pour a lot of resources into the Lakers. But I don't know. I do have some questions. Like, we'll see. I gotta see.
Well, I mean, just ask Dan Wojcicki, right? Who's from Chicago, roots for the
Hmm.
White Sox.
Yep.
White Sox share an ownership with the Chicago Bulls, and when an ownership group does share teams, or when teams share an ownership group, one team is inherently going to be liked more or get more than the other one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just as any kid who has multiple siblings, you always feel like the other one's more liked. you know,
Oh man.
and yet, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a little myopic of me to think that the Lakers would just get the preferential treatment. But I've thought about this a lot, Miriam, and baseball, because there is a more one-to-one investment to return relationship in
Mhm.
baseball than there is in basketball. I can kind of see why Jerry Reinsdorf would spend more resources on the Chicago White Sox than on the
Mhm.
Bulls. And I could kind of see why Guggenheim might eventually make the decision to continue investing and dominating MLB the way that they have with the Dodgers versus, whatever they try to do here with the Lakers. Now, I think the thing that they would run into is a very angry city if
Mhm.
people start to feel that way. And
Mhm.
you don't want to
Mm.
piss off. There's a lot of crossover there between the Dodgers and Lakers fan bases. So I think there's a
Mhm.
little bit of risk involved there in this city where the Lakers are king. But that's
Mhm.
a really good point. The Sparks not getting the resources necessary from this ownership group is a really interesting point here and a really important one because we've seen such exponential growth with the WNBA recently and how that has left teams behind as quickly as it has. Now the Sparks, I believe, have kind of turned the corner. I'm going to apologize. I
No.
apologize to Sabrina about this all the time. When it's the off season, I
No,
try to
no
tune out of
worries.
basketball
All
on
all
purpose.
good. All good. Yeah,
But
they're in a little hot streak, but yeah.
they've scored like
Yeah.
100 points what 4 times this season, right?
Like 4 out of the last 5 games, I think. Like,
Yeah.
they're on fire, yeah. They
Um,
figure something out, but,
but
practice facility or no, like, they got a bunch of good players.
they need to stop scoring so that they can
Yeah,
convince their
it's like,
ownership.
"What are you guys doing?"
um,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I guess that's actually a really good kind of string to pull on here is that the Sparks relationship with their ownership group here. If you could kind of go into further detail there of some of the frustrations there, I think that would kind of highlight that everything isn't hunky dory with Guggenheim and how they've run their sports teams in the past.
Well, I don't know if it's there's some overlap. I don't think it's exactly the same
I know
ownership group. Like, I
Magic's
know
heavily
Magic,
involved.
yeah, and like Mark Walter is like the leader of that. But yeah, I'm not like a like Sparks beat writer. I'm not on the ground every day,
Yeah.
obviously.
Uh-huh.
But do like have an interest in it. But yeah, it's just they basically from Phoenix to Seattle to even Chicago. I think Chicago is the last one now that is building a facility and just all this time, like the Sparks practice at junior colleges and or like training centers, like the place in Glendale or Beyond Sports where they played in Torrance. Like just these every year, it's like a new random spot, and so they book time and they practice as if they were like
That's
like an
crazy.
AAU team or something, um, and then they have to leave and they don't have like private bathrooms or whatever, and it's you look if you get like a Paige Beckers or a Caitlin Clark, like you'd like to have like a place for a player like or Juju Watkins at some point, like those players can't just like go to like public places and hoop anymore, like so um yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. They
I can't
benefit.
believe that's legal. I can't
But
because
legal, yeah.
you I in terms of like the WNBA's CBA, I can't believe that is a thing that is legally allowed to continue because in the NBA, like there was all the hubbub made of LeBron
Mhm.
taking pictures with
At the Clippers
the
facility or their old
well
facility.
not the old Clippers facility, but the one in Cleveland. And
Oh,
he
oh,
took
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pictures with
Yes.
some of the G League
Right,
guys there of
right.
the Cavs.
Mhm.
And the reason that takes place is because teams have to make their facilities available to NBA players that are in the
Mhm.
in the area there,
Mhm.
so that you don't have LeBron working at your local LA Fitness,
Mhm.
because they know the headache that would create for at least the top 1% of NBA players. It's insane that in their
I
own
mean,
home city,
yeah.
like the league wouldn't force the Sparks to have their own training facility, or at least like tell the Lakers, hey, make your training facility available to the Spark. It's just nuts. I don't understand how that happens.
Well, we'll see. Maybe that will change in the coming. Maybe now that the ownership group has vested interest in the Lakers too, they can share a spot. We'll see. It's not, but as you've talked about in your podcast before, it's not like the biggest building in the world either. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's that's yeah. But all right, so let's talk about though the Lakers sale. Jeannie again maintains her role within the Lakers. Rob Pelinka maintains his role within the Lakers. The Ramby not going anywhere. Tim Harris not going anywhere. I'm reading Yaron Weitzman. He just is getting ready. I don't believe it's released yet, but I'm reading his book about the LeBron's time in LA and stuff like that. And Tim Harris so far is a superstar from the early chapters. And here's Pursuit of LaMarcus Aldridge is particularly funny. But he's not going anywhere either. And my thing is, I don't think Jeannie is bad at this. I think she has her blind spots. I sometimes question her instincts as it pertains to hiring practices, right? With upper levels of Lakers management. But I don't, it's not a Reinsdorf or James Dolan situation, or Donald Sterling situation from years past either, right? I think she genuinely cares. I think she's doing everything that she can to make the Lakers successful. I just think she has some blind spots. And what I'm kind of looking forward to with AEG taking over is Guggenheim filling in some of those blind spots, right?
Hmm.
Just saying like, hey, you've gotten here. Let us supplement you with some extra resources here. Let's get Rob Pelinka an assistant GM or an actual GM. Let's make it so that you don't have people, you look across the Lakers org chart and everybody has multiple titles.
Hmm.
Let's let everybody have their one title, focus on their
Hmm.
one thing, and do
Hmm.
that and kind of see how it goes. So in that regard, I know that Lakers fans were kind of hoping that there would be an immediate overhaul, but I actually think this is pretty fine. I think that I don't think there's any negative to come of this sale here with Guggenheim eventually taking over, or at least in the immediate future, just supplementing. And that to me, of everything that has happened with the Lakers or the Clippers so far, that to me is easily the biggest development of the summer. Like I'm not sure what really comes close, other
Yeah.
than maybe Luka getting in shape.
Well, Luca extending, I guess. But
Oh
as far
yeah,
as
that's true. Yeah,
I don't know, the revenge bod versus the contract. It's all connected, right?
both is
Uh,
good.
yeah, both is good.
Yeah,
But no, as far as transactions go, yeah, I mean, getting Guggenheim to, whatever, put up, was it, so they end up like, it's valued at 10 billion, but they already had whatever their percentage, so it's like, was it 400, 600? I don't know, whatever.
yeah. We'll just
Whatever.
say it's a
Yeah,
lot of money.
a lot of money. So, but yeah, no, for sure. That, I mean, in the future of yeah, the future of the Lakers looks really interesting and compelling now. Both like on the Luca front, of course. This is the beginning, right?
Yeah,
And but yeah, of course, with ownership now we have, like, the Lakers should have like deep pocketed owners who are good at winning, who won't just like supplement and fortify, but like definitely like build out. Like you mentioned, the Clippers, like they have a robust scouting departments and all, like just make the whole operation more robust, and more cooks in the kitchen, and yeah, people can specialize and focus, and you get, so I mean, like, Steve Ballmer is very innovative. Like, he went and got Lee Jenkins from Sports Illustrated to come in and
I
like
just talked
just
about
add,
Lee in yesterday's episode. Yeah,
yeah, right. So and just to lend a different kind of perspective to things, and talk to people, and like be able to evaluate people along with talent, and I don't know, like, yeah, there's, if you have the chops to innovate and the like funding to make those ideas to try them out, like that's always a good thing. In
Yeah,
theory.
it's so funny. I had a I did a mailbag yesterday coming back from vacation, and one of the questions was like, why do the Clippers get so much positive press compared to the Lakers?
Mm.
And my thing, and there are several factors that go into this, but this, right? Uh whether it's columnists or analysts or podcasters or bloggers or whatever, those of us who talk about the NBA for a living, this is all a relationships business, right? And uh the Clippers have very much understood how much can be gained from having positive relationships with those who cover the team. And the Lakers, I'm not going to go so far as to say that they're antagonistic, but they're at least standoffish. And and I think when you hear people talk about the Lakers versus how they talk about the Clippers, I think one of the things that you're talking that can be taken into account here is Lee. Lee is
Mm.
fantastic at just going around and talking to people and making sure that if they're going to talk about the Clippers or report about the Clippers, that the Clippers have their full story told. That's really valuable. I come from PR, so like understanding that the Clippers, understood the value there or acknowledged the value there, and then you know I wouldn't go so far as to say weaponize it, but at least have practical applications of PR like that. Like that's really smart. And those are things that I'm really looking forward to, not just because it'll be nice to have a better relationship with the team that I cover eventually, but but also just because I think it would be nice to have a a more full story told about the Lakers, one where they participate in it. Um, Now, as far as the the things that the Clippers have done so far this summer, and one way or one example, right? Like Lakers fans all summer have been like, wait, so when we were super old, we were just called old. We weren't called any of the things that the Clippers have been called over the course of the summer. And um I do find it interesting though, because like the Lawrence Frank gave a quote, and you can help me out here. But he said essentially they have 11 guys for a 9-man rotation. And I think that's such a interesting and cool way of looking at how to get through an 82 game season. What have you thought of the Clippers off season so far?
I mean, if all your guys are like, however old they are, then you and and one of them is Kawhi. Yeah, you better have 11. I look, I think the Clippers are old. Yeah, no, I'm with your Laker audience. Like, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's but I find the off season fascinating every summer from like a psychological standpoint. Because like there's I like I'm trying to be tuned into like Laker fans and Clipper fans,
Yeah.
and this is Clipper fans' time of year. It really is. Like they always, because they have a good front office and they trust their front office and they get the benefit. The front office gets the benefit of the doubt, and more often than not, the public perception of what the Clippers do, because they generally make smart moves, is like, oh, that's a good job.
That
They
makes
did a good
sense.
job.
That makes
That
yeah.
makes sense. That's
Mhm.
smart, et cetera, et cetera. And even like last summer when they let Paul George walk, and then like people like the world was like, oh, that was dumb. You can't leave PG, just leave for nothing. Blah blah blah. Clipper fans were like, no, 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 you don't understand. This was the right move. Uh,
Yeah.
and like that fan
And
base
it
was,
was.
and they were right. They knew, and they will tell you.
Yeah.
And and like Norm Powell said, addition by subtraction. So yeah,
Which is
you know,
crazy to say about a former teammate. You do not hear that very often. Um,
uh,
Turns out
but
podcast P
yeah,
not that popular. The
uh,
P in podcast P doesn't stand for popular. Is what it sounds
stands
like.
for podcaster. Yeah, no,
Podcast.
yeah, yeah. So, but they're just like and it's so fascinating to me that like for Clipper fans, like hope springs eternal. Like these are I think kind of by nature, they're contrarians and they're optimists.
Yeah.
And
Now
you
they
know,
are. I
yeah, I
think when
mean, yeah.
Sterling was there, they were not
No, no, no,
optimists.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think like in the Ballmer era for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because, they make moves that like allow you to believe that your team could do something. Um, I think if you swapped rosters and the Clippers had the Lakers roster and vice versa, like the Clippers would be super optimistic about the Lakers roster, and the Lakers fans would like be like, "What is this trash?"
Yeah.
Maybe not. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, "These
I would
guys
have to root
are
for James Harden,
so
so I can confirm. Yeah.
right."
Yeah.
Like these guys are so old, and like, what's James Harden? And like it's such a different mindset. But yeah, I don't know. I think both teams did well this offseason, personally.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Lakers.
I mean, yeah, I think yes, the Clippers
Yeah.
are older, but they did as well as they could within sort of the confines of like they have Kawhi for this many more years, and so they lined up Harden with him, and then they built out a team that's going to be fun and get their fans excited. They brought back Chris Paul. Like, what is that going to mean? I don't know, but Clipper fans are super stoked on it. So like, I'm happy for them.
I want to go back to the psychology of an off season, because I find that I like when you use that phrase, it was just like light bulb. It's such an interesting way of looking at it, because right now all these teams are in training camp for the NFL season,
Mm-hmm.
and the NFL is this funny ecosystem where the team that wins the off season almost never wins
Mm-hmm.
the upcoming Super Bowl.
For sure.
And part of that is because football is this sport where your typical fan doesn't actually care all that much about what is most important in football, which is the trenches, right? Whichever
Mm-hmm.
team can move the other team, that's going to decide a lot of how that sport is going to, how that game is going to go. And yet so often it's the skill position players, it's additions and subtraction at the skill position, which is what everybody focuses on, because that's what fuels fantasy football. Um and I've been thinking about that a lot as it pertains to these other sports,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not as black and white, I don't think, as it is with football and basketball. But a lot of times, like OKC had a really quiet summer,
Mm-hmm.
but that's perfectly fine, seeing
I
as they
mean,
just won a championship, you
and
know?
they're all like 21 years old. So yeah, yeah.
Right, right. And so they've solidified their core here moving forward, and they've done
Mm-hmm.
all these things. Now I do think that they needed a couple of tweaks here and there, but like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna bemoan the current champion and the reigning
Mm-hmm.
champion for
Mm-hmm.
liking their team. Um, but like with the Lakers, I think it's always a case of shooting for the moon and
Mm-hmm.
landing on a star. Is
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
what they
Well
try
put.
to they
Yep.
how they've kind of tried to teach their fan base to evaluate their off seasons. And this year it's a solid off season, but
Mm-hmm.
solid is boring. Solid isn't,
Exactly.
they didn't get Brooke Lopez. Lopez went to the Clippers. They didn't get Chris Paul. Chris Paul went to the Clippers, and they didn't get Bradley Beal. He also went to the Clippers. And I think sometimes that winds up being a source of frustration here for Lakers fans. But I actually really like I
Mm-hmm.
like the Lakers offseason quite a bit. And
100%.
it's been super weird to be the optimist of
Yeah.
those of us who were talking about this.
Yeah. What's
I'm in the upside
Anthony
down.
Irwin? Where? Yeah, exactly. Who is this Anthony Irwin? What'd you do with the other guy?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I guess if we could pick on that scab a little bit, like what do you think goes into that kind of psychological evaluation of an offseason? Why is there such a disconnect between um how fans view off seasons and what
Mm-hmm.
actually produces wins the following year?
That's. I think it's a lot of things. I guess number one is expectations. I mean, if you're
Totally.
the cool thing about the Clippers fan base is that these people are like still devoted to this team, even though they've never won a championship. or made the finals, and yet they come back every year. The
Yeah.
cool thing about the Lakers fan base is that they have a lot to be proud of. They have a team that's won 17 titles that is supposed to compete every single year for a championship. And anything less than that is a disappointment, which is like an incredibly high bar, but also like really compelling.
Yeah.
And like how and in the world, like what's wrong with striving for excellence? Like you should expect excellence. That's awesome.
Right.
But it's like, and it's not that the Clippers fans don't want their team to be excellent, but like it's just you're starting, you have a different, you're looking at a different, the same picture totally differently.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part. Also, I think, and I don't know, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but like when the Jake LaRavia thing, the signing happened, right? Or was announced. Like I've got my little on Twitter, I've got my list of like Laker and Clipper fans, like people who make me laugh or who are smart or whoever, right? And media among them. And when it happened, like my Clipper fan Twitter feed was like, oh damn, oh that sucks. That guy's so good. They got him for that. That's crazy. What a steal. They're pissed. Laker fans were like, who? Like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, right? Yeah. So it was kind of. So I think the Lakers pool of fans is so much larger that like you're gonna have like your absolute like and very passionate, and like the city loves its Lakers, and believe me, in my family, all my I know Clipper fans and I know a lot more Laker fans, right? Like,
yeah.
but like, and some people are super like in like hoop heads, super into basketball. But I think by default, if you live in LA and you're not a Clipper fan, you're a Laker fan. So like the big names, and you don't necessarily know the Jake LaRavias of the world. You know what I mean? So I think like it doesn't move the needle unless like it's Luka coming or LeBron. You know what I mean? Like I think on some level.
Yeah, that phrase "move the needle" has become, you know how you'll hear a certain note and it just bugs you, or like if it's a taste, right? Like or a scent. I can't stand when Jen cooks with cumin. I just don't I don't like it. It's a scent. It stinks up the house. Fair. I just don't like that. And like every time I hear somebody or somebody like, replies to an addition or subtraction or whatever, whatever tweet I send out, and they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so doesn't move the needle. It's like Jen just doused me with cumin. Like I can't do it with.
Well, sorry to drop so much cumin on your podcast.
Well, no, but I think it's exactly, because my thing is everything moves the needle. Like everything one way or another. Unless you add or subtract the league's most mediocre player, it's going to move the needle one way or another. It has to. And
well, in reality, yes, but perception wise, if you're like, don't, you know what I mean? Like we all consume our NBA product differently. So
well, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, because I think it's a kind of a cool. It's actually perfect that you say that Clippers fans were bummed that the Lakers got Jake LaRavia, because the Clippers and their front office, they've trained their fan base to think of things by every single incremental movement of the needle, and you always want it moving in the right direction. Whereas the Lakers, they will say, we will not use our first round pick unless it leads directly to us winning a championship. And I think that teaching such ignorance over incremental improvement, I think is, I think it's a mistake culturally within the organization, but I think it also leads to what you're talking about here when the Lakers, because I do like the LaRavia signing. I think he's a solid player. I think there's a world in which
a good deal, like
a solid player on a good steady contract who's going to improve while he's a Laker. Like those are incremental improvements there that do inherently move a needle one way or another, and yet Lakers fans don't necessarily think of it that way. And I think that's what gets us to a point here where I think Lakers fans aren't necessarily as thrilled over a solid offseason as they should be, because they have been taught you have to think of everything as, did we get Luka or did we not?
I mean, you're only going to make that trade once, unfortunately.
Well, Not
I
Lakers
mean,
fans
okay,
though, because they might not. They're thinking
this is
Giannis already. Yeah,
this is true, but you will have seen that coming. The Luka
yeah,
trade was yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I guess here's the thing though, like when the basketball actually starts, I know we don't actually care about the actual basketball anymore, but like once it actually starts,
What now?
then we'll be able
They
to, yeah.
play? Huh.
Yeah, sometime in October they'll roll the ball out there.
I'll look for it
Yeah,
on TikTok.
cool. Yeah, exactly. Watch 12-second. um, but yeah, I think then I think Laker fans who might be poo-pooing this offseason will be pleasantly surprised because the team with Luka and LeBron and the supporting cast that they have. And I think Aiton's going to play really well with Luka. I think he's
I think
motivated.
so too.
Uh, um, I think they're and I think JJ proved himself a very good coach last year, except for like one half of basketball, maybe. But but
Yeah,
uh, I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good. Like you said, you think the Clippers and Lakers will be battling for Pacific Division
yeah.
supremacy. So like, yeah, I absolutely could see that. And I think they're in the mix. Like obviously OKC is the bar right now, but we'll see as the season plays out.
What did you make of the LeBron offseason here? Because like to me, it was one of those spots where I have rarely felt so disconnected from like national discourse
Mm,
as I was because of this thing. Cause it was like not just because of stuff that you were hearing behind, like the Lakers were always really, he's not going anywhere. Like
mhm.
whenever I was talking, it was, where's he going to go? We aren't going to buy him out, and
No, it's like impossible.
right. And I don't think LeBron wanted to be bought out because if he wins a championship on a veteran minimum contract, that's going to like, I think that stains his legacy as well. So I don't think he was never going to be bought out. Teams weren't exactly falling over themselves to trade for him, which I think is fascinating in and of itself as well. From your standpoint, how like what did you make of all of this stuff, the noise, and how much of it appeared to be about?
Um, I like you. It seemed like a near impossibility that he would be moved for both receiving team and the Lakers. Like, and no, they would absolutely be so irresponsible to buy him out. I like that, and especially with their new ownership, isn't gonna like they're not idiots over there, so like they're not
Right.
gonna do it. Um,
Yeah.
um, I think LeBron likes to troll, and he likes to be in the. He likes to play this game. He's online. Um, I don't know him well enough to know like why he wants to do that. Um, it's kind of annoying to me, like to just
Yeah.
constantly, like every other day, it's like LeBron was here, LeBron was here. Ooh, what could it mean? Let's start the cycle again. But it's almost like whatever ESPN has a show to do every day, so they love it. They're like, oh, cool, like LeBron tweeted something that we can talk about and debate inanely for 20
Yeah.
minutes, and like I don't know, he's helping them. Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's people. He's LeBron. It's like Tiger Woods. He's like there's some celebrity athletes where like every single thing they do is going to be interesting and drive interest and make people want to talk about it. And so, yeah, and that's the story of LeBron. So I think I, it's also the first time he hasn't been like the king of the castle, right? Like this is now
That's what I
Greg.
found fascinating. That's
Yeah,
what I
it's like
found
Luka's
absolutely
team,
intriguing.
so, like, it's part of it, like, "Hey, y'all, I'm still here too, and, like, let me, like, flex a little bit," so, but, I mean, I don't think that LeBron needs to do that, so, like, I think he just has fun with it, and everybody reacts very predictably.
It reminded me of my oldest doing jumping jacks while my youngest took his first steps.
Mhm.
Like, like right, and Miles is sitting there like figuring out how to literally move around the world, and Avery is just sitting like, "Look, Dad, look what I can do! Look what I can do!" It is a
Yeah.
lot of the tweets and subtweets and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But it also
Mhm.
it also could just be that, as you said, we're just kind of trained to overanalyze things that
Mhm.
LeBron when he was when he tweeted out video of his golf swing, which I can't not play it, but here.
I remember your tweet. You're like, "This is something I could do better than LeBron." So you're
The
a golf.
one thing,
Okay,
the one thing.
he might catch you.
Oh, he's probably already caught me.
Yeah.
He's been golfing a lot this summer. But it's
Yeah.
like
All right.
it reminded me of like when I go golfing and when anybody goes golfing, they get to the first tee, they have a
Mm.
beer in their hand usually, and they send out a picture of the fact that they are, and it might just be that. But because it's LeBron, we can't just let it be that. It has to
No.
be, oh, well, he's wearing a welcome home hat or whatever hat he
Yeah.
was wearing in that
And where
video.
was he? At what time? On what day? And with who?
Yeah,
And
what could it
yeah.
possibly mean? And it
Yeah.
could just be I was golfing and I hit a drive that I liked or didn't like. Although I
Yeah.
have since found out that he liked that shot. That was his reaction to liking that shot. And the voice in the background was in fact J.R. Smith. And they were golfing together and they liked how that drive played out. But yeah, it's just funny how with LeBron specifically, there's such an industry of covering LeBron
Mhm.
that
That's
is
a good way to put it.
insatiable,
Yeah.
and God forbid we just let the dude
Like,
golf.
if but if he, like, just was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna post on social. I'm just gonna be super private and, like, not go anywhere that except for, people see if people," and I'm
Yeah,
not saying, like, he doesn't go outside, but, like, didn't do anything publicly, like, people would go crazy. I don't know, or
or it
that
would be
industry,
why is LeBron not tweeting?
or
What
that.
else is he
I
working on?
100%.
How
Yeah,
could
exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. It would, yeah, absolutely, it would go the other way. Then people would fill that air with all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories and nonsense.
yeah, does
Yeah,
LeBron not tweeting mean he doesn't like what the Lakers have done this summer, right?
it
Like
must be.
it
100%.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're very right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just a sign of our times and, him being an online superstar.
Yeah. All right, last thing before we get you out of here. Um, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors is probably what this division will probably come down to. And then anything beyond that, as far as what the rest of the Western Conference looks like and how those playoffs will play out. How do you see at least the Lakers and Clippers seasons going? Do you like their chances in this as their current? 'Cause I think the offseason is mostly done for both teams.
Yeah.
Um, how do you like their chances as currently constructed?
I think the Clippers are again going to be a good regular season team. I think they could finish first in the Pacific Division. I just like I wish for their sake that they could do what they did last year and just like be like Kawhi, come back in January and
Yeah.
like 'cause that worked last year.
Uh-huh.
But that they're not going to do that. And but just like I don't like James Harden's game in the playoffs is just kind of so hit and miss. It's hard and like what shape will they be in by the time they get to the post? I don't know. Like I love that they fortified the post but also like I hope it doesn't take. I think Zubats is such a huge part of their team and like
Mhm.
if they can't hopefully having more bodies down there doesn't diminish anything or the role or responsibility that he has because it's so important for them. We'll see how like Bradley Beal meshes with everybody. I think it's going to be fine. I think they're going to have a great regular season. I can't trust the Clippers in the postseason until they prove me otherwise. So
Yeah.
that's that. The Lakers, I think, probably I don't know. They're I don't care as much about their regular season. I think they're gonna be fine. I think they're gonna, like, probably be top 3. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that they definitely have, like, a better runway postseason-wise, and I could see them making noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is Kawhi is obviously a real playoff riser, right? Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to stay healthy enough to help the Clippers rise with him. And then Harden isn't so much a playoff riser. He has playoff moments, but he also has moments.
That's yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then but Luka and LeBron, their playoff resume is
Mhm.
pretty, indisputable at this point. And I I truly do believe, we're still waiting for I don't think we'll get the schedule out for a little while, but whenever we get that schedule, it's usually backloaded for the Lakers, and I really do think that they'll look really good early on
Mhm.
and then hopefully use that as, reason to move that first round pick or, trade Dalton for the second
Mhm.
rounders that
Yeah.
you need to make other moves around your roster. I I think the Lakers are going to have a pretty good season this year, but who knows? We'll kind of see how it goes. Miriam, this is always really, really, really fun. Anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just come read me my friends at the Orange County Register, ocregister.com. Kobe Price is doing a great job covering the Lakers, and we have a staff of folks covering all the sports in Southern California. Um, and I am really proud of the sports staff I'm part of. Like, there's some great writers and reporters I work with. So please do come visit.
Yeah, shouts to Kobe.
Yeah,
Perfectly named for this beat.
really, yeah, yeah, super cool guy too. Hard
I do
worker,
keep meaning
great
to
dude.
have him on. You know what? I'm gonna make a note, and right when we're done here, I'm gonna send him a note because I had him right when he got onto the beat, and then literally spent time with him when I went to games out here in
Oh
Texas,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I forgot to have him on. So I'll thank you for the
Cool.
reminder. I'll have Kobe on the show.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Anthony.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. A reminder, please hit that subscribe button if you guys are watching here live. If you guys are watching on Twitter, youtube.com/@Lakers Lounge to find the show there. And then if you guys are listening in the morning via podcast, Lakers Lounge is where you can find the show, 5-star reviews, all that good stuff. And Miriam, thanks again. This is really, really fun.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.